And Frankie obviously played with some of the game's greats, but this is a player, Pelé, that surely when you meet him, even as a top football player, you just can't be anything but starstruck.
He had everything in terms of tools that you needed to get all defenders crazy. And he made, in fact, that number 10 in the shirt so famous, so legendary, because before him, nobody thought about the number 10. If Pelé, if Maradona, Neymar now, or so many others, Zidane, won the number 10, is because of him. He was small, but he was jumping like crazy, and that goal that he scored against Italy in the World Cup showed how high he could go. But he was seeing everything. In that same final, you have that pass that he gives, that assist that he gives to Giorgino, which, not even looking at the players, he knew that the player was coming. He was feeling the game. We saw everything. I saw lately a video of him compared to all the players, all the tricks that they do now. The video was showing that Pelé was doing it before. He created everything. That's absolutely crazy what that guy was able to do. And don't forget, that's one thing that, because some people say, well, it's another time, yeah, football player were not that good. He didn't have the medical. He didn't have the preparation. Physically, they weren't prepared. You know, the travel that they had to make, they were very long. That guy played for 20 years. 20 years. Brazil didn't win the World Cup in '66 because he was injured. But otherwise, every time he played in a World Cup, he won it. The guy was, he was simply the god of football.
Yeah, the video that Frank's just mentioned has gone viral on Twitter. It's already up to 25 million views. It's Pelé did it first, and they're showing all the modern-day greats doing all their fancy tricks and skills. And then, latter day, we're seeing former Pelé doing it all himself. Stuart Robson, we all grew up knowing all about Pelé. It feels as though every football fan loves him.
Absolutely. I'm a bit older than Frank, and my first World Cup watching was as a 6-7-year-old, the 1970 World Cup. And as Frank has just said, and as the video will show you, he started doing things that nobody else had seen. He had the shot from the halfway line, which beat the goalkeeper, but not quite the post. He let the ball run across the goalkeeper against Uruguay. You know, the header against Italy, the set-up play for the fullback, Alberto, to come forward and smash it into the corner. He was absolutely brilliant. In English memories, we always talk about the save that Gordon Banks made. Without the header from Pelé, Gordon Banks wouldn't have been able to make that save. But I think the thing that everybody loves about Pelé, I don't think he was a diver. When he got fouled, he got up and played on. He didn't boast about things. He was a great character as well. And that's why everybody wanted to follow him. He was a brilliant example for every young footballer at the time. Nobody could match what Pelé did at that time, but you wanted to. And that's what you aspired to as a young player. He was absolutely superb. And everybody around the world that likes football knows all about what Pelé did.
I think one of the things we have to remember, as you watch this video, and how much kinder the game is to goal scorers today, and that's putting it as nicely as I possibly can. Kind in every single way, in terms of the equipment of the day. Try striking a ball from the 60s and early 70s, 40 yards, and some of these guys would know exactly what I'm talking about in the difference between the equipment then, or the balls then, and now. The cleats back then, the weight of them, playing 90 minutes with it, playing 90 minutes with no substitutes. And then the biggest differentiator, I think, was what was allowed on the pitch. What was excused as fair play would be seen as almost prisonable, right in today's game. So the game has become, and rightly so, has become kinder to goal scorers and star players of today's game. So while you make these comparisons, while you watch this video and try to put into some kind of context how much more difficult it was back then, everything about Pelé, everything about what he did on the pitch stood out head and shoulders in a comparative context.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.